Hello and welcome to the Blues Focus podcast with me, your host, John Graham. Thank you once again for joining us on this pod. Today I have got with me Tom Oxland from obviously our usual podcast and a very special guest, an absolute legend of the club who played for Blues for many, many years, well over a decade, Colin Doyle. So, yeah, over the course of the next sort of 40 minutes, we're going to sort of go through Colin's career with Blues, how it all started, key moments, hopefully a few sort of interesting insights over, many, many years and a few managers. So, yeah, great to have you all here. So, Colin, thanks for joining us. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's good to be here. Still trying to play along. So, no, I'm enjoying. Obviously, it's tough times at the moment with the lockdown and people. But no, it's got to try and stay positive and we'll get through it.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody's feeling it, and that's sort of not just Blues fans, but just in general, the lack of being able to go and actually watch games live is just not great. But hey, we're getting to watch them, so it's not all bad. And certainly from a Blues point of view, the last couple of performances have been all right. But anyway, the reason we're here, it's a great opportunity for all the fans to sort of understand, I guess, your journey. So. When you started out, was football always your passion, or was there anything else that you sort of enjoyed and sort of excelled in?
I used to, obviously, been in Ireland. You're brought up on soccer, we called it, and Gaelic football and hurling.
Yeah.
And GA sports. So I played that as well with my local team. But I always wanted to be a professional footballer. From when I was a young kid, I idolised Peter Schmeichel when I was younger.
Okay.
Been a Man U fan. Been living in Ireland. You're either Man U, Liverpool, or Arsenal. Or you get the odd Leedsman as well. So, yeah, it was. I always wanted to be a professional footballer, and luckily enough, and I ended up living my dream really. So
yeah,
and still in it as well. And no, it's good. I like the the Gaelic football and hurling as well. But it's as soon as I had a chance to move away, it was tough to move away because moving to a different country when I was 15 was difficult, leaving all my family behind. But it was something I wanted to do and wanted to try.
Yeah, and were you a keeper in sort of Gaelic, or were you?
No, I was I was a fullback in hurling.
Okay.
Which is sort of the position right in front of the keeper. And in Gaelic football, I was a midfielder.
Okay. Wow.
So I always remember coming to Birmingham and Trial at the time. It was sort of coming to the end of their season. It was before we were going back into the following season. And I did a few runs.
Yeah.
And I was actually at the front of the running. So they were thinking, right, he'll do for us. Don't know what his goalkeeping ability was like, but he could run, so he'll do for us. So they were shot, but yeah, it's one of those. It's a massive pitch when you play Gaelic football and play in the midfield. You got to run up and down. So it was my running soon went after I went into football.
So when you were sort of playing for Douglas Hall, was there other interest? Obviously, how did Blues find you for a start off? I mean, it seems a bit random.
I'm not sure. I should say this one because Douglas Hall I started when I was 8, but I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'5" now. Obviously, I was 6'5" when I was 8, but I was always quite tall for my age.
Yeah.
So I've always played. So I'd play for the under-11s, but I'd also play for the under-12s. So I'd always play with two teams, but I was actually in goal for one team and centre-back for the other team.
Wow.
So it actually suited me all right. And it was actually the team who I was playing centre-half for, my younger team, goalkeeper left. So I was being a goalkeeper for the other, said I'll go in goal. And I think we were playing Leeds, which is the local team, and in Cork as well, not Leeds United. Against them, played well, not realising there was an Aston Villa scout there.
Okay, tread carefully.
Went to Aston Villa. He sent me over to Aston Villa went probably 3 or 4 times on and off. sorry, my dogs are playing out. Went over there for a few times on and off, and then nothing sort of came of it. Went to Leicester on trial, and while I was at Leicester, my mum got a phone call off Blues saying, we're looking for another 16 keeper for next season. Would your son come over? And she said, look, he's obviously in Leicester. He can come another time. I think how they got the number was they actually phoned Aston Villa, could they recommend any keepers that they had on their books. Gave my number, I went over for a week, and they offered me a scholarship. So it was
brilliant.
It was a bit of a weird story. So I'm glad it happened that way.
Yeah, aren't we all? Crikey. So how was that transition? You said you were sort of 15. I mean, that's a big old move at such a young age. How did you adapt? How was it?
Yeah, it was tough. I've never left home before. Do you know what I mean? When I was that age, so I've always had my mum, my dad, and my two brothers around me. So I'm the youngest of two brothers. So it was difficult to leave them behind because I had no family whatsoever in England. So it was literally, we want to offer you a scholarship. My mum didn't want to let me go. God bless her. It was sort of my brother said, look, you gotta let him go. He obviously wants to live his dream. So I remember going to the airport. My friends were there, my family were there. Everyone was bawling their eyes out when I was leaving, going on a flight by myself. And at 15 I've never been on a plane by myself, so that was daunting enough. So club were great to me. They put me in with a family up in Diggs in Shirley, and I'm still in contact with them these days. And they were great to me. The two other keepers, Clint Davis and Neil Barnes, at the time were in the Diggs as well. So that was a great help having other lads there. But no, it was great, but it was daunting at the start.
Yeah, and was it Francis, Trevor Francis, manager when you first sort of came across?
Yeah, Trevor Francis was manager. Brian Eastick was the academy manager.
Yeah.
I just come over. It was actually Nigel Spink was the goalie coach at the time for the academy, so done a few sessions with him. He obviously recommended Brian for me to sign. Come over the summer of 2001, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think 2 months into the season, did Francis get sacked and Brucey then come in. So Brucey come in, and then that year we ended up getting promoted through Darren Carter's penalty. So that was my start of the countless managers.
Still going on now, mate.
That's it.
and just from that, I mean, was there sort of notable differences? I mean, obviously the backroom staff will change when new managers come in, but were the new managers, and when Brucey came in, was he at pains to try and get to know you personally pretty quickly, or was it obviously still a young player at that time? How did that sort of transition affect you?
At the start, nothing at all really, because I was only 16 at the time. I never really had any sort of doings with the first team. The only sort of doings you might with the first team at that age was maybe a shooting session, or towards the end of a session they might need a keeper over, so they'll send one lad over, a young lad over, to do a bit of shooting with the front lads. So you don't really have day-to-day outings with manager, but no, it's always a hard question. Everyone says, "Oh, what was this manager? What's the difference between the two?" Everyone's different. Everyone's got their traits and their faults, but they are what they are. Look, Brucey's obviously a top manager. He's still managing in the Premier League today, so it's one of them where it happens. It's football. Managers' life shelf at one club now is, I'd say, a couple of years max, 2-3 years max these days. So it's as a footballer, it's certainly not anything new.
Yeah, and in those early days, you went on loan to Chester and then sort of on to Millwall. how was that? Would you say that was good for your development? And I think rumour at the time was when you're at Millwall, there was potentially an opportunity to maybe stay there. So how did those loan moves go? Was it good for your development?
100%. I started off just a month at Chester. I think I might have been 17 at the time. I went and played I think it was LDV Vans, which was my first ever professional game. So that was good. It was just a month, but it was different because I was never playing professional football. Well, I was playing professional football. I was never involved with a first team.
Yeah.
Where this was going every day, day-to-day training, traveling, playing in League Two. It was certainly to help my development. I think I came back after the month. I'm not sure whether it was injury, so I had to come back anyway. And then I went back out sort of back end of that year. I think I went to Forest.
Yeah.
And that was a real good development for me, just as again training every day this was the championship. So it just benefit me. So for any young kid out there, get your experience by playing football as early as you can and build from that. So no, it was fantastic at Forest. I think I ended up playing 5 or 6 games sort of back end of the season. They went down, and I was supposed to go back the following season under Megson to play for the full season, but the Blues wanted a call back, which they couldn't have in the contract, so that got cancelled. And then the Millwall one, when he said the following year, I went there, played, I think it was 15 games or so in the championship again. And they wanted to make it permanent, but in the end, Birmingham offered me a new deal. Birmingham got relegated into the championship.
Yeah.
And I was told I'd be involved, so it was a no-brainer that I was only going to stay.
And at that sort of time, when they said, you're going to figure, then I think how did that then develop into you breaking into the first team, and how did that sort of evolve for you?
So I was always sort of in and around training at that age. Then I think I was 18. I was always sort of training with the goalies. So I'd always go out with me, Mike Taylor, Nico Vasson and Ian Bennett. So we'd always go out and train with Nigel Spinks at the time, and do the goalie for an hour, and then they'd go off to the first team. I was going off to the reserves. So I always done that, and then it was a bit, when I come back from Millwall, I think Benno and Nico were out of contract. So I think they both got released and let go. And I was obviously coming out of contract as well, but because I played in the championship and done okay, and I was 19 at the time, 20, so they thought they'd offer me a new deal and be involved. I think the plan was obviously Mike Taylor play, and me sort of be understudy, and that was till the start of the season. Then I got on the team towards the back end of the season and stayed in, and we ended up getting promoted back to the Premier League, which was fantastic.
Yeah. And as far as with Mike Taylor, was it sort of healthy rivalry, or was it? How was that? Because I think from the outside looking in, and maybe it's just me, I think it's very cutthroat professional sports, and obviously Mike had been there quite a long time, and I think you were definitely viewed as that sort of you were definitely going to sort of, I think, overtake him. But how was that sort of day to day? Was there any undertones?
No, there's not. I think it's true about keepers. It's very rarely there's bad blood between keepers. You might see it now and again. I think off my top of my head, was it Almunia and Lehman? There was a bit of bad blood between, but I can't think of any. Like they call it the goalies union, and there's no official clan or thing you're saying you're in the goalies union, but it is because you're with each other day to day in training. You'll always start training together, and you're with each other's company for at least a good hour before you join over with the lads.
Yeah.
So you just strike up friendships, and I'm friends with them till today. Do you know what I mean? So we play golf together. We nights out. just one of that thing. You always seem to get on together. Keepers have a special bond, and most keepers do. It's just there's obviously healthy competition, and he wants to play and I want to play, but as you said, there's only one jersey. But if he's playing, you support him. If I'm playing, he supports me, and it's at the end of the day, if the team's winning, then you'll stay in the team and you're doing well. So it's just as long as the team are winning, that was the main thing.
Yeah, Tom, what were your sort of memories when Colin came into the team? What I guess from your point of view and sort of seeing your thoughts on maybe some of Colin's memories from when he broke into the team and for the next
Tom
few
was
seasons.
probably about 6 years old when I brought him to.
Yeah, I've got a granddad who has drilled me into the culture of blues over the years, so I know a lot about your career, despite being young. I've got all the season reviews on DVD as well, so I've watched them over. For me personally, I think my favourite memory of you from what I've watched is definitely that Wolves game in 2007. Easily, probably my favourite performance of yours. Obviously, saving the penalty against a guy who I think the season before had the best penalty record in the Championship. Can't remember his name, the Wolves player, but and then obviously much later down the years there was that Chelsea away game where he saved the penalty there as well, through 1-1.
Yeah.
So those are my personal highlights from your career. But I was definitely very young around those times. But I know my fair bit.
Not long ago, I think, because we played a replay, and I think it was Di Matteo was manager.
It was Villas-Boas, I think.
Villas-Boas, was it Villas-Boas?
Yeah.
So I remember, I think they ended up winning the Champions League that year.
Because Di Matteo took over when he was sacked.
So surely that makes us nearly, almost champions of Europe based on
exactly.
Yeah. I'll take that.
The replay itself, obviously, the replay. One matter it was, and he ended up taking the one in the replay as well, and I saved the one in the replay, which was good. And he come over to me after the game and shook my hand and gave me a smile, and I ended up swapping his jersey, and I got his jersey. He took mine, so it was a nice memory to have. And so I think my lad keeps telling me they're on YouTube and that. So it was good times. Good times there were.
Yeah, with sort of penalties, were you ever the keeper that you give it a bit of chirp, a bit of banter, before they were going to take the penalty, or were you just sort of man a few words? Did you get involved or not?
Yeah, you sort of try to. You just sort of try and get into your head. You walk up to the ball. I think in the Wolves one, I tried to sort of walk up to the player once, just before he was taken, as he placed the ball, and but the referee sort of put me back in my line straight away. He's telling me get back, and you just sort of speak, try and I know where you're going and stuff like that. But no, I think back then it's obviously penalties. Now it's totally different, isn't it? You can't even come off your line an inch. It's absolutely ridiculous. But sort of back then, I used to have a little tactic where I don't really do it anymore, where I used to sort of leave a bigger gap to one sort of side, not a massive, just a little bit.
Yeah,
I sort of knew where I was sort of going even before he was hitting it, and I've done that day, and obviously it worked. But now there's so much video analysis in games now. It's like before you play a game now, you get a video of all the penalty takers and whoever's taking it. He'll have 5 penalties, dating back, counting backwards, and someone else, and you look at it and you've sort of got in your head which way you're going, because you think he's gone there twice, he's gone there 3 times, and he's going to go the other way.
Yeah.
So that's what it is now. It's very tactical football now, whereas back in the day it was just I'm saying back in the day, I'm still only 35, but you know what I mean. There wasn't much video. It was just rock up, play the game, try and win, and move on to the next. Where now it's video meetings and all that. So it's good.
It's funny you say that actually, because I'm a football scout
Yeah.
aside from the podcast, and when I watched the highlights again recently, I saw you take that little step to your left, and I thought it was quite interesting. And then obviously as soon as you ran up, you jumped, and then you saved it. Took that little side step. I thought it was really clever. You don't really see keepers do that too many times nowadays.
I don't think you can, because you'd be bloody
No.
put back on your line and it'd be a retake. But no, the rules now are a farce. It's technology in games. Sometimes it can ruin the game now, kind of with this VAR, and some might say help, sometimes it doesn't. But especially the goal, how can you end up? It's physically impossible to dive across on a line, or you need a step forward. Even when you're diving in a normal shot, you have to take a step to push off to be able to push. Otherwise, you're not going to save it. Obviously, they're giving the advantage to attacker big time, but look, rules are rules, and I'm sure they'll probably be changed again at some stage. So
yeah, I was going to say they're allowed to take their
see
fancy run-ups.
I know, exactly. So
Yeah.
it'll change, but I'll probably be well retired by then.
So, Cole, you're one of a very select band of Blues keepers that have actually played in European competition. So, how was that? Because I mean, that from a personal point of view, I've been going. I mean, showing my age. So, I first went up in '79, and I've had some pain, some serious pain over the years. So, when we actually got into the European, it was mental at St Andrews. Yeah. How was it for you?
Up until Jonathan Spector's back pass against Maribor, it was all right. I really enjoyed it. I wanted the ground to to swallow me up at that stage, but no, we ended up winning 2-1. But no, it was especially one of the highlights of Blues' career playing in Europe. To this day, I'm at Killy on loan at the moment, and Chris Burke is here with me as well. So
brilliant!
We were talking about it. I say it was probably last month, maybe. We're talking about it and how we didn't qualify with was it 10 points? 10 points or something like that. Yeah. 11 points. Like how we didn't qualify out of the group with that many points. It must have been something fishy going on in the last game when they were playing each other, a little 0-0 draw or 1-1 draw, whatever it was. But no, it was fantastic. And seeing St Andrews full was the night of it was the team when we played when Nathan scored that long distance shot.
I think
in
was
the qualifier.
Bruges?
No, not Bruges. It was the qualifier one when to get into the. Was it?
Don't know.
Was it
go on,
Madeira?
Tom. Go on, Tom.
Madeira. It was Madeira team, no?
That rings a bell.
They played in black and white. I remember. I can see it in my head now. I remember
we drew over there. I think we drew 1-1 over there. And we brought back St Andrews and we won. And obviously, then we got into the group stage.
It was something Nacional, I think.
Nacional, that's it. Nacional.
There you go, Tom.
Madeira.
Thank you.
There you go. Wikipedia is so good. So no, it was it was full St Andrews, and then even playing in the group games. I think it played 3. Was it Bruges? I think Bruges at home, Maribor away.
Braga.
Maribor home as well. Braga. It was Braga. Yeah, we should. I'm saying we should have got a group. We were nowhere near favourites to get out of the group, but
no.
Getting 10 points and obviously the 100th minute winner in Bruges, whatever minute it was, and see the fans.
Yeah. First English team to beat Bruges away.
Sorry, say that again.
First English team to beat Bruges away.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was some night. I can imagine it was some night for the fans as well. Seeing them. The way they reacted, because I remember looking at one stage, looking over, and they were opening. I think the top tier was full, so they kept piling in, and I think they ended up opening the bottom tier. It was some night, and one we enjoyed, and certainly I can imagine the fans enjoyed.
So when you say you enjoyed it, to what extent?
Last minute winner, getting the winner. Was it Woody or Kingy getting the winner? And then I think the the flight back on the plane was a bit rowdy, and a few alcoholic beverages hammed that night, I think there was. So no, it was one of them, but no, it was fantastic, because not many players can say they've played in Europe, can they? So it's to play with, obviously coming through the academy and to win the Carling Cup and then get into Europe was fantastic.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think for all Blues fans, that's very much the sort of the halcyon days. And I think, you know, when Houghton came in, I think some of the football we played that season was just, you know, exceptional.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's gone on to have an incredibly sort of strong managerial career. So then after that, how were things? You know, as you got towards the sort of the end of your time with Blues, how did that sort of play out?
Yeah, it was all right. Still there we had
about 4
Chrissy,
years,
and then obviously Lee coming after Chrissy. We had Randolph, and then was it Rowett? And I think I was there for only half a year with Carey, and ended up moving on. To be honest, I loved it at Blues, and I didn't play as much football as I liked to. I probably played, I can't remember, I probably played more cup games than I have rugby league games. So, well, at the time it was difficult for me to move just because of family.
Yeah,
my youngest at the time wasn't very well, and it was difficult to sort of try and move away and keep going. So I decided to stay, and it was still a big club at the time, and it was fantastic for me. So the club were great. They knew I needed time off. I needed time off with my son being ill. They let me have it, so it needed to be done. And he got sort of better, and I just thought then, you know what, I fancy trying to play in for a few years. So then I moved on to Blackpool and moved on to Bradford then with a good couple of years. But one, not regret, is I always wanted to come back to play in front of St. Anne, because I never got to say sort of goodbye, really.
Yeah.
Sort of had the end of season awards where I sort of said, look, I'll probably be leaving. But I've never sort of had in front of the fans to say thank you or whatever for it was 13, 14 years that I was there for County Academy as well.
Yeah.
And it nearly happened getting to the playoff final with Bradford City the one year, and Millwall beating us, but they ended up getting up, and it would have been so good to come back to a full St Andrews and just obviously see the fans and play in front of the fans once more.
Yeah, and I think that the fans that were sort of knocking around from as you say, when you signed, just certainly from the youth point of view, and all those years, you were always sort of a mainstay in and around the club, and certainly as a testament to the performances. Some of the games you played in are the biggest, in the history of the club. Certainly recent history. So there's absolutely no doubt that your name is there, for forever as far as Blues is concerned, and nailed down in the history of the club. So should be immensely proud of what you achieved at the club, that's for sure. And I think that those days are probably limited now with regard to pretty close to a one club man. Don't sort of see that again too often. So what, I mean, I know you've done some coaching badges. So what does the future hold for you after Killy, do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm 35, so I still want to continue. Still, as long as my body lets me continue, I'll continue it as can be, because you're a long time retired in this game. So as long as the body lets me, I'll go. But I've done my B license, my Outfield B. A couple of years ago, I was supposed to do the goalie A license, but we ended up getting to the cup finalists with Hearts. So that was cancelled, but I've just started my Outfield A license. Literally on Friday. So
okay.
I definitely want to go into coaching and see what that's got to me, whether it's a goalie coach or whether I want to do outfields, like be a manager. I'd like to be a manager, but you don't really sort of see many goalkeepers managers. I think the one off the top of my head is the lad at Wolves at the moment, probably.
Think of Tim Flowers as well, but that's it.
Yeah, Tim Flowers. Yeah, I think he was at Solihull, wasn't he, for a bit. So Yeah, I'll see. Look, as I'll get my badges, and that's why I'm doing the outfield day as well. I want as many badges as I can, and probably eventually I might go in to do my pro license if I do fancy going down the management route. But definitely at the moment, I just want to get my badges under me, still play as I am at the moment, and see what happens after that. Really,
It'd be great to see you down at Blues as a coach one day when you're just like St Andrews.
You know, it's a hand me CV in.
Yeah, do it.
I'll tell you what, there could be a vacancy coming up in the not too distant with some of the transfers happen. But so did you get your taste for the sort of the outfield and the outfield coaching? Doing those badges when you played up front for Blues against Shamrock Rovers.
That was it.
That was it.
Nothing to do when I was younger. That was it. But 15 minutes up front. Shamrock Rovers pre-season was the highlight. I've actually done it twice for Blues. You know, I came on against Burton Albion in the Birmingham Senior Cup.
Oh yeah.
I always remember that, and I think at the end there was only 2 subs. It was me and whoever. One lad's got injured, so I went on as similar to Dublin. I remember running in, getting, I don't know whose jersey it was. I know the one in England, in Ireland was Ziggy's, wasn't it? Ziggy's shirt, but I can't remember the one who was in. But I always remember it was Burton Albion. Nigel Clough was the manager, but Brian Clough was sitting in the stands behind. And all I can remember hearing Brian Clough come, "What the is going on here?" But went on, yeah. But the one in Dublin, I had a free kick. One in Dublin had a free kick that hit the target, and I think I had a header. And I remember the first, Darren kicked the ball out, first shot. It was a goal kick. I went to jump, and the centre half just come clean through the back of it. Oh no! I'm gonna get smashed here. So no, it was good fun. It was good fun at the time, but I absolutely loved it. It was good crack, and I think all I can remember was if I score, we're on the pitch or something like that, or was a song at the time or something like that, or either on the pitch or they're on the PISS. So I can't remember which one it was. So, no, it was a good laugh.
And one of the other sort of notables post Blues, you managed to play for your country and your club in 24 hours. I mean, was that some sort of sponsored charity event you did that with? What the hell's going on? What is going on?
No, it wasn't. It was. I found out that I would have been playing. We were Turkey away. At the time, we were Turkey away in Turkey. We had a game for Bradford because we were League One at the time.
Yeah,
it was the game still go on in League One. There's no international break, is there? So I said, look, I'm obviously playing this game Friday. I'm back. We always fly back after the game straight in the internationals. So I was back into Ireland that early Friday morning, like Saturday morning. I said, look, I'll ask permission. Can I play? If I feel okay, I want to play because I'll still be buzzing. Because it was my first cap in.
Yeah.
First cap was under when I was at Blues.
Yeah.
I think it was 2007 or 8 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was always in squads up until then, but never played. Then I wasn't in squads for a good 3-4 years because I wasn't playing. Then I moved. Went to Blackpool, went to Bradford, got back in the squad and got this game in Turkey, and I was just on such a high. I said, "No, man, I'm buzzing. I could play a game now. If you want me to play it again now, I could play it now." So Ireland were fine with me, because I think the next game was did we have it? Yeah, I think that was the last game for the international. So it was you can go home and play. So I went home, flew back. I think we got in about 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Didn't sleep. When you arrive back with Ireland, you go straight to the hotel. They have a bed there for you if you want a bed. But they always put a fry on. So I had a nice fry up.
Had
a nice fry up. Ate me fry, back to the airport. Didn't sleep. Went on. Can't sleep on planes. So I just went home. I think I landed about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Went to bed for 2 hours back in Bradford. Got up, went to the game, and we ended up winning 1-0, clean sheet. So it wasn't that bad. And I think I was dead that night. Though. That night, then after that game, I don't think I could feel my legs or anything. It was absolutely shot. So it was good, and I think the club were happy, and it was nice media, positive media at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. Well, it is a one-off, a complete one-off, and it was a clean sheet in Turkey as well, wasn't it?
No, we ended up
1-0.
1-0. Yeah, we lost 1-0. They scored a late enough goal. We ended up losing 1-0, and it was disappointing. But I was just still in. I actually played all right. Played well that game for Ireland as well. So I was just buzzing that I got another cap, and
brilliant.
It was just on a high. You know what I mean? For not playing for so long for Ireland, it was just so good to get back, because it's anyone's dream being a football, obviously dreaming being a professional footballer, and once you're there, your sort of second dream is to play for your country. So no, it's two things I'm very proud I did of.
And rightly so. So before we let you go, I mean, that's been fantastic, really, really, really good.
Definitely.
And as I said, I think the length of time you're at Blues is just unbelievable, and I do hope that we see you back there. I mean, it'd be interesting if you came in as maybe an opposition coach, and then you could taste what the hospitality from that side.
I don't think I might get a little clap when I walk out. But I'll be walking down a full time. It could be a bit of abuse. So anything bad I've done, I'm sure they'll bring me back up.
No, I think you're definitely one of those players that you'd be roundly applauded, and rightly so.
Yeah.
So before I let you go, just a few quick fire questions. So, in your time with Blues, who was the best manager, do you think, or the one that you got on with the most while you were there?
Probably it's a tough one because I've had so many. So Chrissy was obviously really good, because I think at the time the managing was just sort of changing. It was a lot of video technology was coming in and stuff like that. So Chrissy, to be fair to him, was really good. But the one I'd probably have to look back on is just Brucey, because he gave me my debut and got me involved with Birmingham. So I think he was obviously Trevor Francis at the start, but I only had him there for 2 months, so I wasn't involved under him. So Brucey I'd have to go with, just pure because of getting me in and giving me a chance in the first team, and obviously in death that he did that for me.
Sure. And best player you played with?
Oh, that's a tough one. Should have done my research on a few of these questions. I don't know. I used to like Stephen Carr. Was just the dedicated. He gave everything. He obviously went out of the game, was for a year, whatever, through injury, and how no one picked him up, and obviously coming to train. I remember seeing him. Obviously, he was still, I wouldn't say a legend in my eyes, but playing for Ireland, I always thought, he's decent. Playing Tottenham, playing Newcastle, he had a decent career. We ended up signing him. Everyone thought, he'll be no good. He'll be crocked. He hasn't played for this long.
Yeah.
But to come in and done what he's done, and to lift the Carling Cup as well was special. And everyone will probably go down and say, Christoph Dugarry in his time and stuff like that. But the one I would sort of pick would have been Carey, just for the way he's all over around the training ground, how dedicated he was, how physical, fit. He was just not human. He was just like a machine. Like it was scary. He was top bloke as well.
Yeah,
and best to the Villa fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And he went right up in lads' best.
And best keeper during your time, obviously you were sort of in and around a lot of Blues. Who was sort of? Who would you look up to?
I had, obviously it was Nico and Benno. Then Mike sort of come in. Mike was up there. Some top international keepers, you know what I mean? It's I know I was second choice to a lot of them, but it wasn't like I was second choice to poor keepers. It was top international. Like Mike's got 90 caps for Northern Ireland or whatever it is. And you had Fozzie, who's played for England at the time. Joe Hart comes in on loan for a year. Butland comes through the ranks. So it was difficult. Even when Boas come in, he was at Wales. He was Welsh. He played for Wales a few times. So everyone, it's Randolph, all top international keepers. But I think probably, I don't know. I think Joe probably just him and Fozzie were close. Mike as well, but probably Joe Edge. I remember he actually struggled when he come in to start with.
Yeah.
First couple of games, he sort of struggled, and I think McLeish was quite unsure what to do, because I think our third or fourth game into the season was Man City.
Yeah.
And Mike played the Man City game. I think we drew away 0-0, and I think the manager was oohing and ahhing whether to keep Mike in or to throw Joe back in.
Yeah.
So it was touch and go, and he decided to put Joe back in. Next game was Liverpool at Anfield, and I think Joe had an absolute worldie. Had man of the match in it for the rest of that season, and he was by far our best player. I think he ended up getting Player of the Year, and he was top lock. Yeah, it was some of the saves he was making was absolutely ridiculous. That proper spread Schmeichel-esque sort of stance he used to come out and block the ball with was good. So yeah, it was probably Joe just edges it.
Yeah, he was brilliant on that unbeaten run that season. I think it was a 10-game unbeaten run, something like that. I remember him in particular.
Yeah, I think were we top? We were 8th or 9th, or we probably reached the 40-point mark. February was it? February, March. We reached the point, but it was like, hopefully, I was like, right, see you Thursday. We're safe. But no, it was phenomenal. When it was that year, I think it was their highest ever finish in the Premier League. That year, it was just we were everything we did. We just signed some good players. We had Fergie. Fergie was some class for us that year as well, and we had some decent players. It was just a good time to be involved in it.
And finally, over all the time that you're at Blues, who was your best mate? Not necessarily the player-wise, but who was the guy that was with you and you had the crack with?
Probably Mike. Mike was probably the one I sort of got on. Cause we had a little. I'm well into my golf. I love my golf.
Yeah.
We had a little golf school going. We used to play at the Belfry at the time.
Nice.
So there was me, Mike, Carey. Craig Gardner played a little bit. Kev Phillips played a little bit, but the majority was me, Mike, Carey, Lee Boyer, and Roger Johnson.
Okay.
So we had a good little group of golfers. So it was day off every Wednesday.
Nice.
Other than rain, even if it was frosty or cold or whatever, we'd still rock up. But rain, no, we didn't do the rain. So no, we used to probably Mike. I used to get on probably the best way, to be honest.
So on the 10th at the Belfry, are you a layup man or do you straight for it?
Oh, you gotta go straight for it.
That's just up the road from me, actually. The Belfry.
No, I used to get me. I used to get me niner out and hit the green with me niner from.
Get off.
No, somehow I miss it. I haven't played it for years, but no, it was you have to. I think probably now and again you laid up, but it depends on how your round was going. If you're doing really, really well, you're like I'm laying up. I'm not ruining the scorecard. But if you're having a shocker, it's like, right, I'm just going to let rip, try and get on the green and do it. But yeah, I probably made a couple of green. But there was a bunker on the right side at the time as well. It was 9 times out of 10 you ended up in that bunker or going bloody straight.
Yeah.
Out of bounds.
Yeah, and I think it's the 18th, isn't it, with the plaque on the fairway where you try and sort of reenact the shot.
Yeah.
I tend to top it.
I think it was Ben Hogan at the time, but yeah, some holes. I was probably never in a position to do that because I'd hit me rescue or tree wood or whatever was off the tee and go to the bunker straight and ended up having to chip out of the bunker and then then go across. So no, it was some course.
Who was the best golfer at Blues?
We had a decent school. I think me and Mike were off around the 6 mark. Lee Boyer was off the 9, 8, 9. Roger was similar, 8, 9, 10. But Carey ended up getting down to 3 or 4. So Carey was for being a little right stocky guy right back. You think, he won't hit that far. He could absolutely munch it, but it was decent. He was just all around good at any sport, anything he played. So it was probably Carey, but no, we had a good little school.
Brilliant. Right, Cole. Well, that's. Thank you so much for joining us. That's been absolutely a brilliant insight into, as I said, a wonderful career at Blues, and hopefully that you will get your chance to sort of say that sort of the farewell to the fans at one point. I'm sure if you come back in a coaching capacity, you will 100% get that. So really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us today.
No, it's been good, lads. Enjoyed it. Anytime, just let me know. It's not a bother. I really enjoyed it, and it was good to be involved.
Yeah, brilliant.
Cheers, Colin.
Yeah. Right, well, thanks for everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. Obviously, absolute Blues legend, and we'll be looking to do more of these with lots and lots of players and get the insights into, I guess, what meant playing for Blues meant to these fantastic players that we've had in our history. So, this pod will drop soon, and enjoy it, and we will speak once again in the future. Cheers. Thanks. Bye-bye.